He is our adversary, and he is the father of lies. The devil went to a health spa. Yeah, if you had deranged people screaming at you at a health spa, it'd be, "You have your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh his own, for he went and I stopped and got gas at Speedway. And if I just left it at that, I would want her to assume that, I've told you this before, when I was in high school, there was this one time, this really cute girl walked up, and she and her friends were all giggling, and she walked up to me and says, what is false, or not believing what is true. So, you cannot deceive somebody by accident. The purpose of blood vessels look blue. They're not really blue. Your blood is red. If you take it out of the body without it touching air, it's still red. I believe something that's not true. I used to believe, but if somebody tells you, when I was in, and he says, "Oh, that's a controlled substance." He says, "You need to go talk to the first sergeant." She goes and talks to the first sergeant. He looks at her and says, "Stay right here, Private. I've got to get it out of the safe." He goes to the chalkboard and scrapes the chalk dust off of that, puts it in a Ziploc baggie, then walks up and he just so misleading, making her believe something that's not true. Guile is cunning. Craftiness is being sneaky and underhanded. Think of con men. Think of scammers. Think of these people who tries to trick you into doing something. That they're using guile. I was trying to buy a piece for my computer online. I found what I thought was a really good deal. Somebody was offering the piece that I wanted for almost half of what it normally cost. And I went in and went to buy it, and they still haven't shipped it to me because there was no product. They lied about the lies about sin. Now, the devil has a lot of different lies about sin, and some of them are very similar, yet you'll hear different aspects of them tonight, and we're just going to go over some of them. We're not going to go over all. That means that people just make it up. In other words, is there any reason up? In other words, is there any reason why we have yellow lines? All different ways you could do it. That's just a social construct. And they say sin doesn't really exist. The devil loves that. Compounding every month by huge amounts. And they say, well, inflation is down this month. That say the Holocaust doesn't happen. For those of you who don't remember, the Holocaust. So that the Jews can't. Transcendent ethic means a system of right and wrong that exists outside of people. Are some of the dumbest smart people I've ever seen in my life. They're all smart, but they all are very convinced of their own intelligence. And he wrote an article over all the thought leaders and all this. And the idea of moral relativism is the belief that there is no standard of behavior outside of the person. Or the idea is the subject, right? The last blank there is subject. They say right and wrong, therefore, are subjective. In other words, your belief, which flavor of ice cream is the best. Now, if they made a pickle version of ice cream, I guarantee you that it would not be the best. I mean, I like pickles and all, but the sweet pickle, no, that'd be an abomination. I'm full of this. And they asked them the question, was it wrong for Adolf Hitler to murder 6 million Jews? And they could not say that it was wrong. Well, who are we to say this outside of your personal opinion? Okay? It is anchored into the personality and nature of God, and it doesn't change. And it's something that we can hold to. Murder, i.e. that which offends God and so on, but really what is sin? Take a little journey with me and discover a life-giving truth that will reframe sin for us in a way that produces freedom and peace. Do you hear the word reframe? When you hear somebody talk about Travolta and I forget phenomenal. I think it is. A guy gets hit by lightning and starts and gets smarter for some reason. And he's been having a problem with a rabbit getting into his garden. And he's digging down and putting all this wire around it, doing everything he can to try to keep the rabbit out of it. And he finally realizes that what he misunderstood point, right? Reframing can be a good thing. But when you talk about reframing can be a good thing. But when you talk about reframing sin, all you're doing, reframing, when you talk about sin, it means changing definitions. So now it's acceptable. We've heard this a bunch, haven't we? It's not adultery, it's an affair. It's still adultery. If you're cheating on your wife, or you're cheating on your husband, you're cheating on your wife, you're cheating on your husband. Don't give that a lot. People's like, we're going to redistribute the wealth from the rich to the poor. That means you're going to go and try to be Robin Hood and steal from people who have something and give it to somebody who doesn't have anything. And at the end of the day, the people who don't have anything will go through all the money that the other folks had, and now everybody's going to be poor. Margaret Thatcher, I believe, said the problem with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money. Same vocabulary, but you can have a different dictionary. The Mormons have the exact same vocabulary as we do. They talk about salvation, they talk about sanctification, all that, but their words don't mean the same thing. It's like the word that you just used, I don't think it means what you think it means, kind of a thing. The thing is, Galatians chapter 5, verse 19, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envying, murders, drunkenness, reveling, and such like. If I tell you before, as I've also told you in times past, that they that do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. You do these things, you ain't saved. Now, it doesn't mean that if you go out and get drunk one time, that's it.